burning questions we're going to get to. We are just in the thick of it. A week after the Super Bowl, we're already talking off-season. Mike T, starting with you, do you trust Philly to fix their offense in 2026?
I do. It actually starts with the offensive line. Tyler Steen, Fred Johnson didn't play well. Assume Lane Johnson plays the whole season. Then if they trade A.J. Brown, which I think they could get a first-round pick for, this draft is loaded with wide receivers. When you fix the offensive line, that gets this guy going, number 26. Really good in the run game, and obviously sets up the play action as well.
Step back for a step forward coming up in 2026, maybe unloading an all-pro receiver. Graz, your question. Should the Vikings end the J.J. McCarthy experiment?
No, I mean, look, they've already paid 70% of his contract, so letting him go now wouldn't make a ton of sense. I think what they have to do is, buffer themselves against the possibility that he gets hurt and or struggles again. They had Carson Wentz in the building last year. He played okay early on, but then he got hurt. They need to make sure their backup plan, they bring in some competition for J.J. McCarthy, and that they're fortified against further struggle.
Last year, really just his rookie year.
Yes.
You got to let...
And he didn't have a whole year.
I know, surprisingly enough, you got to let a quarterback cook a little bit in the NFL. I know, Mike T. Crazy, right? From one McCarthy to another, Dominique. Should Pittsburgh reunite Mike McCarthy and Aaron Rodgers?
No, I don't think so. I think that the Steelers have to be aggressive. The last few seasons, they've kind of been passive about addressing the quarterback situation. They just got to get the guys who are still there, from Russ and Fields to last year Aaron Rodgers. I think they need to be aggressive and put together a deal to go get one of these quarterbacks that gives you some hope and some promise. And I think also, you got to at least give an opportunity to Will Howard, who they have on that roster. I know he's a late-round pick, but he's somebody that you drafted because you believe that he has some potential. So he should get a chance, but I think Aaron Rodgers' days should probably be over with the Steelers.
Yeah, Mike T, it's interesting. You have a new coach for the first time in 20 years. They went out and bring Rodgers in last year thinking maybe he was the missing piece. So with a new coach, do they bring him back? Does he make them a playoff contender next season?
No, I would clearly move on from him. Look, last year they were 25th in the league in explosive play rate. He is obviously an all-time great player, Aaron Rodgers is, but he's going to be 43 in December. And as you said, Matt, you have a new head coach. Give Will Howard a chance, as Neek mentioned, and then go scour for a veteran, Kyler Murray, Kirk Cousins, and then look at the draft. Beyond Fernando Mendoza, it may not be in the first round, but I think at this point, it's hard to believe, but Aaron Rodgers is really a bridge quarterback. And if you're in year one with Mike McCarthy, start fresh and bring in competition with Will Howard.
Graz, agree? You like a reset for Pittsburgh at quarterback?
Yeah, absolutely. Look, they need to be thinking bigger than they have the last couple of years at the quarterback position. 2 years ago, they go out and get Russell Wilson for almost nothing. They trade for Justin Fields in a low-cost deal. Last year, they waited out with Aaron Rodgers till he exhausted other options, and so had they. But they need to find whatever their real solution is at quarterback. They can't keep putting it off just because they don't love the options.
Sure.
You make a deal for somebody like a Mac Jones, who's still young and has shown promise when he's played the last couple of years. Maybe you look at the draft. Maybe if Kyler Murray's out there, he's not 30 yet, right? So you got to figure out what your real solution is, as opposed to this annual Band-Aid they've been putting on the problem for the last couple of years.
You said bridge quarterback, Mike T. Neek, that's kind of an interesting way to put it. With the familiarity with Mike McCarthy, maybe you do bridge Aaron Rodgers for a quarterback of the future.
Yeah, I'm not sure that Aaron Rodgers is interested in being a bridge quarterback. From all the reports last season, that it was very important to him that he be the quarterback and the Steelers not go after a high-round draft pick. I think Aaron Rodgers had his opportunity to kind of be a bridge quarterback, and now you got to give the reps to someone else. I respect the fact that the Steelers want to be as competitive as possible every year, and I understand that whoever they bring in is not going to have the prestige or the experience of Aaron Rodgers. But the future for whoever they decide is that quarterback has to be much brighter than for a 43-year-old quarterback. Despite how good Aaron Rodgers can be at his best, he's not at his best. And I think having him around that building and as the starting quarterback does slow some of the development for whomever you decide is going to be the future in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, they have to be thinking about ceiling instead of floor.
That's right.
This is a big problem the Steelers have, right? They've won exactly 10 games each of the last 3 years with wildly different quarterback situations. The only thing those situations have in common is they were not the long-term answer. So the Steelers need to be willing to take their medicine a little bit. It's just not how they operate. And I think it's going to be interesting to see what choices they make at that position.
And do you get a journeyman quarterback? We just saw Sam Darnold, Team 5, get bounced around and win a Super Bowl.
If you brought in Mike McCarthy in part because you believe in his ability to get the most out of a young quarterback, develop a young quarterback, then you should find him one.
Yeah. It's going to be an interesting offseason with them because they were plug and play a year ago and it didn't exactly work, but we'll find out in a long offseason for the Pittsburgh Steelers. On planet Earth at a Sigma Chi house far, far away, Jackson Dart, Giants quarterback, getting flopped around on a mechanical bull. What are we doing? We're having fun. We know that, but Neek, should we be getting thrown around on a mechanical bull after a couple PBRs?
Yeah, I mean, he's a professional football player. He can handle riding a mechanical bull. I get the idea. Maybe if I give him a little bit of advice, I mean, not that he'll take it, maybe use the left hand to hold the bull, not the throwing hand, but I don't think it's that big of a deal. The man's just having a good time. There's a pad down there. He's all right. He's taking much worse hits.
I'm pretty sure the injury rate on the mechanical bull at the bar is pretty low, or else they wouldn't have them there. I mean, this is usually for drunk people who have no athletic ability whatsoever.
Right, which is
I'm
why
pretty sure Jackson Dart could handle it.
I mean, he's getting look, Mike T. Would you want you're the GM of the Giants and you see your quarterback back getting? I mean,
the question: what good comes out of this? Can we find fun some other way?
I don't know, man. Leave the kid alone,
guys. But the point of the mechanical, Graz, you hit
off season.
The point of the mechanical bull is it is for drunk people who usually don't feel anything.
Right. You think?
Yeah, so you're trying to get to be athletic.
You think if you woke up the next morning and you had a broken arm, you wouldn't like go back to the bar and give them a hard time with your attorneys? Like I don't know. I feel like this is pretty safe. I mean, I'm not saying I'd do it, but you know, I think it's probably pretty safe.
And Mike T, what good comes out of this? To answer your question,
athlete.
we get a Monday morning topic on Get Up. That's what good comes out of it. On the field, it's early in the NFL offseason, but right now on DraftKings Sportsbook, the team that's taken the most money to win the Super Bowl, the Giants at 65-1. They currently have the 23rd highest odds to win the Lombardi Trophy. And I don't mean this to sound disparaging, Graz, but why are the Giants so hyped?
I mean, look, Harbaugh, I think people are excited about him. I think people are excited about Jackson Dart. There's talent on the roster. They had 7 of their losses last year were one-score games. They feel like a team that kind of, if things broke the right way, could make some noise. And I think people are looking at, you know, my guess is people are looking at 65-1 thinking, why not? Because the payoff would be good. I don't personally understand, like, going out, doing your job, earning your money, and then spending that on, like, betting the Giants to win the Super Bowl based on what we've seen the last 10 years or so with them. But I can see why Giants fans would be more optimistic than they have been in recent years.
Yeah, and Neek, to be fair, they're usually is a team that comes out of nowhere to go on a run the following season. You said it, John Harbaugh, Malik Neighbors, if he comes back healthy, Jackson Dart, Cam Scatterbo. What does this look like for them, for the Giants, in a successful season?
Yeah, I think a Super Bowl is a bit of a stretch. Those teams that come out of nowhere don't often go and win the Super Bowl. They might win the division, and for the Giants, I think success would be having a winning record. I think they had 5 games last year where they had a double-digit lead at some point in the game. Those are games that you hope with better coaching you would put away. The problem is John Harbaugh is the coach that if you're looking at someone who's given up some pretty tough losses and comebacks, he's kind of the guy in the Ravens of the last few years, is the guy that you look at who's done something like that. But I do think that his coaching and the professional way he runs the organization improves the talent that they already have there. They have a great defensive line as a foundation of that defense and a young quarterback who I assume is going to get better in the offseason.
And we're kind of looking for that. Patriots are kind of the blueprint for that, coming in, first-year coach, second-year quarterback, no really expectation to speak of, Mike T. They go all the way to the Super Bowl. It's kind of the comparison there with the Giants, no?
I don't think so, because I think context is really helpful. This is a team that's won 7 games over the last 2 years. If they win 6 or 7 this year, that's double from a year ago. John Harbaugh could be coach of the year. So I think they have a ways to go. If Jackson Dart plays in 17 games, could they maybe sneak into the playoffs? Sure, that's a possibility. But I just think when you think about their secondary, a couple places on their offensive line, there's some fundamental challenges that this roster has. So I think they're going to be marked improvement. But as you said, Matt, they're still the 23rd in terms of odds, 23rd in terms of getting to the Super Bowl or winning the Super Bowl. So I think there's meaningful progress, but a long way to go.
And the other thing you do in the offseason, we play this game all the time when you look at the 2026 schedule.
Yes.
We sit there and go, win,
Right.
loss, win. Look at their schedule. Is that favorable in any way, Graz?
No, it is not. It might be more favorable than last year's, but that's not saying much. And again, look, from this distance, we don't know, if the same teams that were good this year are going to be good again next year. But those look like tough road games at Seattle, at the Rams, at the Texans, at the Lions, even at the Colts, who were a hot team at one point this season if Daniel Jones is back healthy. So, no, it's going to be difficult. Look, I think what the Patriots just did is part of what's giving the Giants fans, Giants bettors hope, because the Patriots had only won 8 games over the last 2 years before this year. But the Patriots did not have a gauntlet of a schedule like we just saw on that screen there for the Giants. So I do think people should temper expectations a little bit.
Nick, back to Harbaugh for a second, because you'd mentioned sometimes in close games or he gives up leads and loses games that he shouldn't, but you're bringing in a successful Super Bowl winning coach. You can't just find them anywhere. The Harbaugh effect has to have a little bit of a factor here with a young team that's got a lot of talent.
Yeah, I mean, the other side of that is you've had a lot of big leads in order to give them up, and there are more games that they held onto those leads that they didn't. The Giants do not have that in their recent history of having a lot of big leads or holding on to those leads. They also haven't really had a quarterback that is as exciting and promising as the one that they have right now. I think what we saw from John Harbaugh is the ability to have success and win with 2 different styles of quarterback over his career, and I think that you could do the same thing with Jackson Dart. It should be really encouraging what they've done. He's going to manage that team well and bring in good coaches for